Judy. My name is Sophia. And my name is Kate. And we caught 15 willy worms. And the majority of them is orange.
Thanks to Sophia and Caitlin from Fisher for sending those to us, and the majority of them are orange.
15 of them they caught, just for you.
Oh, that is so cool. I'm just so grateful for the folks in Central Illinois for doing this, and as I said, being more creative, not only pictures but videos, and it's just exciting to me. I love it.
They found mostly orange,
right?
But what do the colors represent? Because there's several colors out there of woolly worms.
Oh yes, there are, and they can, you know, this year was very variable, I'll tell you that much. But you look, when I do the research, I look for the color of the worm. What is the predominant bands? I remember I told you 13, so if they're all black, that means it's going to be doggone cold this winter. If they're orange or tan or light brown, it's a mild winter. If they're, you know, black at the front and black at the bottom or at the end, that means we're going to have a cold start, a cold end. But in between, we have brown, so it'll be mild. So you have to look at the coat of the woolly worm, the color, and then you look at the appearance. Is it bushy? Is it thick? Which obviously they're getting warmed up for the winter, which will be cold. Are they spiky? That means it's going to be a lot of ice. So you have to look at the coat itself and the appearance of it and see what it tells.
So from front to back on the woolly worm, we're actually looking as winter as it progresses from sort of November through
until the end.
Interesting.
And then the third thing I look for is the direction in which they're moving. Now this is harder because people would actually have to stop and see which way is it going. But if they're going south, just like snowbirds, we want to find something warmer. So that means cold winter. Now, if they're traveling north, that means, oh, not going to be too bad. I'll stick around here.
Now, do woolly worms, are they aware that at the rate they travel, getting south, they're not going to make it very far by, say, December, I wouldn't think.
Not very far at all. They actually move pretty fast, but it takes them 2 minutes to cross the road. So every time they cross the road, they're taking their life in their hands, as we well know.
Sure.
Why do they cross the road?
Well, the
other side, Heather.
That's what I was going to say. The funny side.
Took the joke.
But they're just looking for a hidey hole, so to speak, a place that they can hibernate in winter, whether it's under a rock, an old log, old plant debris, and so forth.
Yeah.
So that's what they're looking for.
Well, let's take a look at some of these pictures that we're going to scroll through here. Yeah. So would you call that one pretty bushy?
That's bushy. That's pretty bushy. That's pretty thick and bushy.
I think I might it'd be hard to tell the difference between bushy and spiky.
Well,
oh no,
you can.
When you see spikes,
you
know
spikes?
they're
Okay,
spikes.
all right.
They're definitely spiky. Most of them were bushy or semi-bushy from the ones that
look at tiny that one.
That's a little baby one.
Yeah.
It'll take 3 minutes to cross the road for that guy.
That's right. But it's just interesting to see that this is a Blue Ridge mountain custom from decades ago, probably since colonial days, when the Native Americans taught the settlers what to look for on the worm, especially the woolly worm. And so you look at all these different segments of the worm and their thickness and their coats. But sometimes you have, and then you obviously the white ones have an edge over their cousins because they purely tell you, they're unique, what kind of snow we're going to have. So if you have an abundance of white ones, that means you're going to get some decent snow.
I just thought those were the older ones.
Oh, no.
Their hair had turned white.
Oh, the wise ones?
Right, yes. Now, are they the same across the country? Because you can find these most anywhere, as I understand it. Do they tend to all do the same thing, or is it regional based on how they look?
No, I think they all kind of do the same thing. And I know the Woolly Worm Festival, which is the most famous in this country, is in Banner Elk, North Dakota. And they actually have woolly worm races. They race up a string, and whoever wins all of the heats and races, whatever color that worm is, that's how they determine what the winter weather is going to be like.
Funny you mentioned that. We just visited with the ladies from the Camargo Woolly Worm Festival last week, and they said they were going to have a contest to see who had the fastest
worm.
That is so cool.
Once they move, I used to get live specimens at the station before people were, because as I think I told you in the past, the Postmaster General at Champaign said, Judy, please don't have people send them through. You know, they'd send them in a little box, poke a hole in it and send it to me.
Please do not mail your woolly worms.
Because they found that they were getting out. Maybe they didn't have enough to eat and they were getting skinnier or something, but they were out. And he said, all my postal people are walking around. I'm going to step on these things. So I couldn't do that anymore. So.
Well, let's talk statistics.
Yes.
What we've figured out for this season without giving away the full report. How are things looking?
Well, let's say it's been a variable worm sighting this year.
Okay.
Because we've had a little of this, a little of that, a little in between, and quite a bit of white ones. So it was a difficult forecast this year.
It makes your job hard.
Yeah, making it hard on Judy.
Yes.
So it looks like 44% were black.
Right.
36%
were the brown, the beige, the orange, and the yellow.
So those all kind of get grouped together.
Right.
The brown,
the
orange
ones.
color.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
And so I look for the predominance of worms across central Illinois, and that's kind of how I base my forecast. But when it's so divided, it's a little difficult.
Sure.
So this year was a bit of a challenge.
Well, I'm working my way to the edge of my seat, just moving
right
up here, so we can be. I'm anxious. I want to know.
As do several other people here in central Illinois. So what is the official forecast? Judy's going to share that with us coming up. We're going to pull our best Ryan Seacrest.